Kevin Stefanski's quarterback gamble, Dillon Gabriel's uneven debut, Shedeur Sanders' shadow, and the Browns' looming QB crisis. Introduction. A quarterback conundrum in Cleveland. The Cleveland Browns have never been strangers to quarterback drama. From years of instability under center to the constant carousel of players trying and failing to become the face of the franchise, the position has often been the franchise's Achilles heel. And as the 2025 preseason winds down, the Browns once again find themselves navigating dangerous waters. This time, the stakes feel different. Veteran Joe Flacco provides stability, but the future hinges on two rookies, Dillon Gabriel, a late draft pick whose arrival sparked debate, and Shedeur Sanders, the son of NFL Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, who is being groomed as Cleveland's long-term answer. When Gabriel made his preseason debut against the Philadelphia Eagles, fans were torn between cautious optimism and immediate skepticism. Some believed he could silence critics and prove worthy of Cleveland's investment, while others saw him as a stopgap, an afterthought to Shedeur's inevitable rise. What unfolded on the field was a story of promise, mistakes, and an unraveling faith from the man whose opinion matters most, head coach Kevin Stefanski. A controversial draft decision. The controversy began the moment Cleveland passed on Shedeur Sanders earlier in the draft and leaned instead toward Dillon Gabriel. It was a polarizing decision. Many pundits believed Sanders had the tools, pedigree, and charisma to be Cleveland's future QB1. Gabriel, meanwhile, was seen as a talented but flawed college passer, praised for his accuracy in spurts but criticized for turnovers and inconsistency. Inside the Browns' locker room and among the fan base, that decision split the conversation. Was Stefanski betting on Gabriel because he fit his offensive system better, or was it simply a conservative play to avoid the spotlight and pressure that comes with the Sanders name? The preseason opener against the Philadelphia Eagles was Gabriel's first chance to answer those questions. The debut, a tale of two halves. On paper, Gabriel's performance looked encouraging at first. Completing 13 of 18 passes for 143 yards and 1 touchdown, he showcased poise, command, and flashes of efficiency. He even excelled in pressure situations, going 6-for-6 on third downs for 51 yards, posting a stellar 102.1 passer rating in those key moments. But just as Stefanski seemed ready to embrace Gabriel as a serious contender in Cleveland's quarterback room, disaster struck. The first blow, a costly pick six. Midway through the half, Gabriel stared down his receiver just long enough for Eagles rookie Andrew Mukuba to jump the route. The result? A brutal pick six that not only erased momentum but exposed the exact flaw scouts warned about, his tendency to telegraph throws under duress. The second blow, a fumbled exchange. Minutes later, Gabriel compounded the error with a botched handoff to running back Pierre Strong Jr., a turnover that killed a promising drive. In a league where turnovers define games, those two mistakes became the defining story of Gabriel's debut. What had started as a promising night quickly turned into a cautionary tale of why rookie quarterbacks rarely get smooth entries into the NFL. Stefanski's measured disappointment. After the game, Kevin Stefanski didn't mince words. At his post-game press conference, he highlighted the turnovers as the difference between a solid outing and a squandered opportunity. 2 giveaways really were the difference there in that first half because I thought we were doing some really good things, Stefanski told reporters. But then we got that takeaway, had a takeaway negated by an offside. So we're just trying to hammer home how important it is to win that turnover margin in these football games. For a coach who emphasizes discipline and execution, Gabriel's mistakes cut deep. His comments made it clear. No matter how well a quarterback executes 90% of the time, the remaining 10% can decide games and careers. Numbers don't lie. The paradox of Gabriel's performance. Gabriel's final stat line tells the story of his paradox. Completions, 13/18. Yards, 143. Touchdowns, 1. Interceptions, 1. Pick six. Fumbles, 1 lost. Passer rating, 72.2. On one hand, the accuracy and efficiency were there. On the other, turnovers crippled his overall impact. To some analysts, this mirrors Gabriel's college career, brilliant in flashes, flawed under pressure, and always leaving coaches asking whether the risk outweighs the reward. Shedeur Sanders' shadow. While Gabriel's debut raised doubts, Shedeur Sanders' earlier preseason performance against the Carolina Panthers raised hope. In just 3 quarters, Sanders threw for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns, showcasing precision and calm that belied his rookie status. Crucially, he committed 0 turnovers. Fans immediately began drawing comparisons. How could Stefanski and the Browns choose Gabriel over Sanders in the draft when Sanders looked more polished from the jump? The debate only intensified when Sanders suffered a minor oblique injury, sidelining him for Gabriel's debut and preventing an immediate head-to-head comparison. The irony is sharp. Sanders' absence gave Gabriel his shot, but Gabriel's mistakes only fueled the argument that Sanders should have been the pick all along. A QB room in chaos. Cleveland's quarterback depth chart is anything but clear. Each signal caller brings their own baggage. Joe Flacco, the veteran, reliable but limited, penciled in as the Week 1 starter by default. Kenny Pickett, the reclamation project, battling back from a hamstring injury, desperate to revive his career after a rocky stint in Pittsburgh. Dillon Gabriel, the rookie gamble, flashy but inconsistent, with turnovers haunting his debut. Shedeur Sanders, the rookie phenom, injured for now, but already showing the poise of a future franchise quarterback. As Stefanski put it, "I hope so," when asked if all 4 could play in the preseason finale against the Rams. His words reflected the uncertainty surrounding health, readiness, and depth chart alignment. The Stefanski dilemma. Kevin Stefanski faces the toughest decision of his Browns tenure. Does he double down on Gabriel, hoping the rookie learns from mistakes and refines his play? Or does he lean into the rising tide of momentum behind Shedeur Sanders, banking on the talent and leadership that already shone in limited preseason action? The Browns fanbase, long starved for consistency under center, grows restless with each passing week. And while preseason games don't count in the standings, they carry massive weight in shaping narratives and careers. For Stefanski, the choice will define not just this season but his own legacy in Cleveland. The road ahead, preseason finale versus Rams. The Browns' final preseason matchup against the Los Angeles Rams looms large. It's more than just a tune-up, it's a referendum on the quarterback depth chart. If Gabriel rebounds, he may secure a role as the primary backup and quiet critics, for now. If Sanders returns and dazzles again, the calls for him to leapfrog Gabriel will be deafening. If injuries persist, Flacco may be forced to carry the offense longer than anticipated, with Pickett waiting in the wings. The stakes couldn't be higher for Gabriel. Another turnover-filled performance could cement his role as little more than a project. A clean, efficient outing could keep his NFL dream alive. Conclusion: Cleveland at the crossroads. The Cleveland Browns are a franchise perpetually caught between hope and heartbreak. Dillon Gabriel's debut only added fuel to that narrative. For every crisp throw and third-down conversion, there was a crushing turnover that reminded everyone how brutal the NFL learning curve can be. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders lingers in the background, a quarterback with the pedigree, skill, and charisma to ignite a franchise starved for a hero. Kevin Stefanski's faith in Gabriel may be fading, but the bigger question looms. Does he have the courage to embrace the future with Sanders, or will he cling to safer bets in Flacco and Gabriel? For now, Cleveland waits. The preseason finale may not officially count, but in the long run, it could decide the fate of not just one quarterback, but the entire trajectory of a franchise still searching for its savior.